Welcome everyone. We are FTC Team 13356 and will be hosting today's Introduction to FLL seminar. If you don't know what FLL or FTC are, that's okay. Stay tuned because we'll be talking about that later. You see the cool robot in the background? If you do FLL, you'll get to make them too. We'll be having a question and answer session at the end, so if you have any, hold on to them or jot them down. Please don't interrupt us while we're talking. Disclaimer: this session is being recorded. We started our team last year in 2019, and it's now our second year as an FTC team. We are from Fremont, California, and our team members range from 7th to 11th grade. We go to William Hopkins Junior High School and Mission San Jose High School. Our team members were a part of different FLL teams, and here are their accomplishments. In Robo Mustangs, we got the Performance Award in our first year for having the highest scoring robot. In our second year, we went to the Global Innovation and the Regionals. The Global Innovation is an extra competition. Teams that the judges think have an outstanding project get to go to it. If you're the winner of it, then you get thousands of dollars and you get to go to the World Championships. Some of our team members listed above are former FLL members and have competed in 2 to 3 seasons of FLL.
Hi, my name is Warren and I've been on FLL Team Boss Squad for 2 years. I really enjoyed programming.
Stop presenting so that... Sorry, go ahead, Warren.
Hi, my name is Warren and I've been on FLL Team Boss Squad for 2 years and I had a lot of fun programming the robot.
Hi, I'm Amod and I was in Taco Bots for 1 year and Robo Mustangs for 2. I really enjoyed building and programming the robot.
Hi, I'm Nikhil and I was in Taco Bots for 1 year and Robo Mustangs for 2, and I really enjoyed building.
Hi, I'm Siddharth. I was part of the Golden State Robots for 2 years, and when I was young, I loved playing with Legos, and FLL takes that to the next level.
Hi, my name is Sai, and I was in the Applebots for 1 year and Bot Squad for 2 years. I really like the feeling I get when I finish a program and it works successfully.
And some of the cool awards you can get are, so this is the performance award that we got, and this is the Global Innovation Certificate, and these are all awards that you guys can get. Who this tutorial is meant for. This tutorial is meant for students between grades 4 to 8, those who are interested in FLL Challenge, kids who like to build with Lego parts, students who would like to learn programming, kids who like to solve puzzles and real-life problems, and those who are interested in STEM. We will cover what is FIRST, what is FLL, FLL Challenge, what to expect in a competition, different aspects of FLL Challenge, which includes the part you're probably most excited about, the robot game, project, core values, and we'll also be talking about judging, getting started, and resources.
Yeah, but first let's start with what is FIRST. FIRST is a nonprofit dedicated to spreading STEM for kids. It stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. But it helps with many more skills than just learning how to build a robot. You can learn presentation skills, leadership skills, communication skills, and how to build good relationships with others. To join, you can be anywhere from pre-K to 12th grade. There are 3 different divisions: FLL, which is what you guys are here for today, FTC, which uses metal parts, and FRC, which make humongous robots with about 20 members. So these are the different divisions of FIRST. First, there's FLL, which is for ages 4 to 16, and you'll be building robots mainly around Lego parts. Then there's FTC, which is for ages 12 to 18, and you'll be building with metal parts. And then there's FRC for ages 14 to 18, and look how big their robots are. Eventually, you'll get there too. What is FLL? This year, FIRST has decided to make 3 subdivisions of FLL. They include FLL Discover, FLL Explore, and FLL Challenge. Last year, there were 4 competitions. They were FLL Junior, FLL, FTC, and FRC. What was previously FLL Junior is now FLL Explore. In this presentation, we will be talking about FLL Challenge. FLL Challenge is an international competition hosted by FIRST for elementary and middle school age students. Each year in August, teams are introduced to a scientific and real-world problem for them to focus and research on. The robotics part of FLL Challenge involves building and programming a LEGO Mindstorms or Spike Prime robot to complete tasks. The top is Spike Prime and the bottom is EV3. Students also find solutions to the real-world problems as a part of their project. They also need to demonstrate good core values, which we'll get into later. Lastly, they compete in different levels of the competition.
What makes up the FLL competition? FLL Challenge is not just a robotics competition. The robot game only contributes to 1/3 of your total score. The 3 parts of FLL are the robot game, the core values, and the project. The first part of FLL Challenge is the robot game. In the robot game, teams build and program EV3 or Spike Prime robots to complete different missions such as dropping a cylinder into a box or relocating a brick across the playing field autonomously. The second part of FLL Challenge is core values. Core values are basic principles such as teamwork, cooperation, innovation, discovery, inclusion, and many more. Judges will evaluate your core values by making observations of your team's actions, teamwork, problem-solving methods, sportsmanship, and much more. The third and last part of FLL Challenge is the project. In the project, teams attempt to find innovative solutions to problems in society that are related to the year's theme. This year's theme is health, sports, and fitness. One example of a good project in Animal Allies the season of 2016 was the H2O Post, an automated water post which monitors the amount of water horses drink. Once again, the robot game is only part of FLL Challenge. Different levels of competition. The first level of competition is qualifiers. It is held in November and teams register for it in October. It is the easiest level of competition in FLL. Each state has about 12 qualifiers, and 30% of the teams that attend pass. The second level of competition is regionals. It is only attended by the teams that pass the qualifiers. There are 1 or 2 regionals in California. They take place in mid-December. Again, 30% of the teams pass. State. State is the third level of competition. Only 9% of the teams get this far. There's only 1 state competition per state, and only 1 team passes. The FLL Challenge World Festival is the 4th and final level of competition. There are 2 world festivals, one in Detroit and one in Houston. 1 team from each region attends the World Festival to represent that region.
Yeah, and the competitions were one of my favorite parts of FLL because that's where all your work pays off.
What to expect in a competition? FLL competitions are very fun. You'll be expected to participate in 4 events in each competition. The first thing to expect is a project presentation. In this presentation, you have to present your innovative solution to a real-life problem related to the year's theme and present it to the judges. You will also participate in the robot game and inspection. In the robot game, the goal is to score as many points as possible using your pre-programmed robot. In the robot inspection, the judges will inspect your robot design and programs. The last thing you will participate in is a judging session where judges ask you questions about core values. In the next few slides, more detail will be provided. Robot game. Rules of the game. Robots should be built entirely out of LEGO EV3 parts. The robot should be pre-programmed, meaning that it has to move entirely on its own. Remote controls are not allowed. Making contact with your robot outside your base, which is the white part of the picture of the board, it will result in a penalty. The less penalties you have, the more points you get. You are not allowed to do missions from inside your base. Only 2 people can interact within the base at the same time. The rest of the team has to stay behind a line drawn by the judges. Since this will be a recording, you'll have to create your own line. Here is the video for this year's missions. This year, teams have to send one unedited video of each of the 3 rounds of robot game. For each round, you need 2 unbiased adults or witnesses, such as school principals, teachers, etc. There will also be live judging sessions with the judges. However, there is no information about how the live sessions will work or what they will ask. More information will be released in late September. Do you guys know what the black and white lines on this board is? If you do, put it in the chat. We'll wait for 1 minute. Yes, the point of the black and white lines are the robot can track them using the color sensor. Siddharth will show it in the live demo, but using the color sensor, the robot can use the lines as reference points, so they can follow the lines or use them as checkpoints to complete the missions accurately.
Be giving a live demo of a robot. This is a basic EV3 robot, and it has several different components that make it work. Does anybody know what this is? If you do, put it in the chat. I'll wait for a couple of seconds. Yes, this is the EV3 brick, the mind that controls all of the other parts in this robot. As you can see, this brick is connected to all the other pieces. These 2 motors, this color sensor, like the one that Sai was talking about, and this gyro sensor, which is used to calculate the angle of the robot. And the brick is connected to all of these using these wires. And you can control this brick with the EV3 programming software, which will go into later. And this brick, using the programming, can connect to the motors and make it go forward and backward and many other things. And I'll give a demo of that right now. Please save your questions until the end. We will answer them. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Using the programming, the robot can go forward, backward, and even spin around. With the right programming, you can make your robot do anything.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the project. The theme of this year is health, sports, and fitness. For the project, teams need to come up with a solution to a problem related to the theme. Remember, FLL isn't just about the robot game, so you need to make sure that your project is just as good as your robot. One example is from the 2018 season called Into Orbit. For this, teams needed to think of an everyday challenge that astronauts face and come up with a solution to that problem. We will show you our solution to this problem. Our problem was that since gravity in space versus the gravity on Earth is different, astronauts would suffer from bone and muscle loss, resulting in them being very weak when they come back to Earth. To prevent this, we created a shoe that utilizes electromagnets so that gravity can be simulated in space. Please keep in mind that while our solution is tech-related, your solution doesn't have to be tech-related at all. So as you can see, this is the shoe. It has 3 electromagnets on the bottom. And when I turn it on, it's attracted to this metal sheet. But right as I turn it off, it drops it because that's because of the electromagnets.
We also made a robot to demonstrate this, and it works similarly to the shoe that Nikhil showed, and we have the same electromagnets on the bottom. And one thing to keep in mind in FLL is that it's not just a robot game, and if you don't have a good project or core values, then you may not advance. And this happened to us in our first year of Robo Mustangs, and we had the highest scoring robot, but our project and core values weren't as good, so we didn't end up advancing that year.
Core values. Core values are general rules to follow for how to behave and interact with people in the FLL community. Core values are just as important as the robot game and project, and they are also evaluated by judges throughout the competition. Core values may even be the most important part of FLL because they can be used throughout your life, not just during the competition. The core values are discovery, exploring new skills and ideas, innovation, using creativity and persistence to solve problems, impact, applying what we learn to improve our world, inclusion, respecting and embracing our differences, teamwork, becoming stronger when working together, and fun, celebrating and enjoying what we do. One interesting story about core values is that at one of my team's tournament, the tournament place ran out of water and everybody was also out. So one of the teams, they went over to the nearest store and they bought a couple of giant packs of bottled water and handed it out to the teams. And the judges saw that and they must have thought, wow, this team has great core values. And even though their robot game and project weren't the best, guess who ended up winning the tournament? They did. Judging. Judging is interviews by judges to evaluate how good your team is in the three areas: robot design and performance, core values, and project. This year, there will be one 30-minute judging round that covers all three subjects. The project portion of the judging round will be a 5-minute presentation of your project and then 5 minutes of questions from the judges. The robot design portion is similar, a 5-minute presentation on your robot and then 5 minutes of questions. The core values portion consists of 3 minutes of reflection based on the core values your team showed during the other parts of the session, and then 5 minutes of verbal feedback.
Getting started. Below are some softwares to download. All of their links are on this slide. We'll be sending the slide deck later. The first is a LEGO Mindstorms Education EV3 for programming your EV3 robot. And this is what we showed in the live demo. And this uses block coding. You can also download the Spike Prime student app. This is used to program a Spike Prime robot. It uses Scratch-based programming. The third software is LEGO Digital Designer. It is used to create a model of your robot online. You can easily find errors or flaws in your design after creating the model. A cool feature is that it can create a step-by-step instruction manual of the robot you designed. And there's a picture of it in the bottom corner.
So this is how the programming for EV3 looks. To start coding, it uses block coding, so you just have to drag an icon out from the bottom here. And you can customize the blocks to do what you want them to do, such as if you want it to be how you want it to be turning, what speed you want the wheels to be moving at, and you can customize how many rotations you want it to be moving as well. There's a variety of different blocks to move smaller motors, single motors, even do loops, sensors, data operations, and more advanced arithmetic operations as well. You can even customize each of the individual blocks to do, such as doing degrees instead of rotations. To To do what Siddharth did in his demonstration, this could have been used to just move the robot forward. This could have been used to move the robot backwards. And this could have been used to do his turning.
All right, so there's a couple of things you need to buy when starting for FLL. One is you need to buy the game field, which is what you saw in the video, and it's what all the missions go on and where you're actually going to run your robot. And you need a set to build with. There's two options. One is the LEGO Mindstorms EV3 Education Core Set, which can be purchased at a lot of different places. Or as an alternative, there's the LEGO Education Spike Prime set, which can also be purchased at many different places. On this slide, additionally, are the FLL table assembly instructions and the material list.
Forming a team. A team can have from 2 to 10 members. The cost you can expect for buying a robot kit, registering for a team, purchasing a game field, and buying a table and perimeter totals to around $800 to $1,000. You can only purchase a field kit during registration or in late September. A team can have up to 2 field kits. If you'd like to form a team and have a group of members in mind, register for an FLL team by using the form that is linked. For more information, go to FIRST's website about costs and registration.
Wait, but what if I want to participate, but I don't have anyone to do it with? So as you can see, we've made this form to try to assist people. You can input all of your information in this form, and then we'll share it with others who are interested, so that you guys can maybe meet up and try to form a team together. Just like a lot of teams, there's a lot of people who are friends or go to school together. So you can have them contact us, and we'd be happy to introduce them to FLL as well. But what about COVID-19? Well, here's the rough schedule with COVID in mind. So there would be practice tournaments in November for you to try out your robot and get a feel for how an actual competition would work, but it doesn't count. Then the qualification tournaments would start in December to January, and all of these events will be remote, with judging sessions being via video conference, and like Sai said, you submitting your robot game through video. And then the regional championships would be in February, and those will also be remote.
Websites, books, and YouTube channels. For resources, you can go to FIRST and FLL's websites. At those two websites will be information on this season. You can also go to the Playing at Learning website and other websites like FLL Cast, FLL Tutorials, and EV3 Lessons. And you should also buy I bought the Lego Technic Idea books, which is a set of 3 books: Simple Machines, Wheeled Wonders, and Fantastic Contraptions. I personally bought the 3rd book, and it was really useful because it gave lots of pictures that helped me build my own unique attachments for the robot game. And there's also Builder35 who gives lessons on YouTube.
So these are some resources to contact us. As you can see, we have our email, website, and Instagram. Just another disclaimer that this session is being recorded. And does anyone have any questions? Right now I'm gonna send the form and the link to the slides, which you guys can take a look at. And then, yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
You can also ask them in the chat. We personally have used EV3, and I have done it since I was in 4th grade and I'm now in 8th, and they didn't have Spike Prime then, so I used EV3 for all of the seasons I was in FLL. But you can also use Spike Prime, and I think they released it this year, or maybe last year.
It's completely new.
Yeah.
Like, what are the proper age to start? Like my son, he is right now he is 5th grade. Is it the right time to start to form the team and go to the competition, or it's kind of let him practice a little bit using the so-called EV3, and maybe next when he grow up a little bit and then start to form a team? What's your recommendation?
I think you can start it now because, like we said before, you can also do FLL Challenge if you're in 4th grade. And so I guess it would probably be best to start this year.
Yeah, and to add upon that, it's never too late to start because like there's a wide age group for FLL. So like, and as soon as possible because like even if you're not winning all the time, you're still learning and you're still learning how to do it. So I think it would be good to start.
Okay, so the FLO you mentioned, is that also required the team to forming a team?
Yeah, so Darth, do you want to go into that a little bit about like what the requirements are for a team and stuff?
A lot of times teams are formed by schoolmates. So if your son or daughter has a few friends that are all interested, then they could all start together. The other thing I was going to point out is 5th grade is a great time to start. You can do FLL and you can do easier stuff first, for example, and then build up over the years to harder concepts.
Exactly.
So, like one simple example was, and I'm a coach and mentor. One simple example is, the first year the kids never used a gyroscope for moving; they just used distance and time. Whereas as they got more advanced, they use a gyroscope for direction and for moving. So it's just one example of a concept that you can learn over time, but you can start easier. So it doesn't mean that you have to be super. You can adjust your design based on their age.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that you're a coach, right? So that's actually my question. So we can let's say we form a team. So how do we get the help from the coach, or how to get how to find a coach basically to help the team?
Yeah.
Actually,
So
oh yeah, go ahead, Daddy.
in the form we linked, we actually put a note there that if you're interested in talking to a coach, we'd be more than happy to talk with you. So we're happy with talking with you maybe offline, and we can take a few more questions in this thing, and then we can give you more details. So usually it's best if one of the parents is a coach, but then obviously the coach needs some coaching if you've never done it before, and that's where we can help and give you guidance and things like that. So happy to connect more and answer more detailed questions offline if we can sync up.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
and also we're willing to help like be mentors for your team. Because we have plenty of experience among us, so we're willing to like help. You can just shoot us an email if you guys want more information about that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And someone else had a question, which was, did you try to do all the missions or the ones that suited your design or points? So we usually weren't able to do all the missions because that's pretty hard. And so we tried to do as many as we could and try to maximize the number of points. And the video that we showed before, that was like a really good team, and I think they won the world championships, so they were able to do all of them, but for most teams that's kind of hard.
So Amod, can you explain your thought process and how you picked which missions you did?
Okay, so in FLL we would like pick a group of missions that would either be in the same area or you would have to do something similar, like some of the missions you had to flip them or pick something up. So we would do all the missions that you have to flip an object in the same round, and then in another one you could do all the ones where you have to pick up something, and then if you have more time you can do like another round with some of the far away missions or something like that.
So Spike Prime is fairly new. It was released this year. We have not used Spike Prime. All of us have used Lego Mindstorms in the years we were in FLL. So yeah.
So we would usually have a couple meetings per week, one for the team, and then we would also have like subgroups or sub-teams, whatever you want to call it. So a group of 2 or 3 kids, we would work on a set of missions, and then the other group would work on another set of missions. And for project and outreach, we mostly work together, and yeah.
Someone asks, given COVID, how would you recommend breaking down the work tasks? Is there a simulator? So like, Sai, do you want to give insight on like how we function and maybe you can adjust that to how you can adjust that to FLL?
Well, we use a system called Slack where we all post our assignments. We communicate through that one. And we also use Trello as like a clipboard where all the assignments are there. So basically, you can just break up the work amongst yourselves. And you can, for example, if there's a board in one person's garage, you can like get shifts so only one person goes at a time and they can work on the programming. Because each program, you can like make separate programs for each mission and then piece them together at the end. So it only takes 1 or 2 people to program for each mission. So you can do that. And I don't think there's a simulator.
I thought there was a simulator now to be able to simulate. So maybe one of you guys can double check that. But let me answer on the COVID thing from the adult perspective. So I looked at FIRST website and they have some guidelines. So one thing they recommend is getting multiple kits. So that way you don't have all, let's say you have 6 kids, they're not all using the same kit. You can kind of spread or subdivide. So maybe you have 2 kits or 3 kits that 6 kids use. The other thing they recommended was that you have cohorts, so maybe like 2 kids at a time. I think Amod and Sai both referred to this, which was you could split up. I know we did this one year where we had, for X number of missions, we had 3 outings. So we tried to bunch up a bunch of missions, as Amod talked about, and we had a pair of kids work on each of those outings. So that way you could kind of subdivide it. Obviously, with COVID, everything is a work in progress, and we should do all guidelines. It's a little bit difficult. Does cleaning as much as possible, having more kits, and then subdividing the kids into smaller groups. We'll get back to you on the simulator thing.
For how much is the parents' involvement in this? Like, are kids doing independently, or parents have to spend time, help them program?
Maybe one of the adults can help answer this. So it depends on the age. The younger they are, the more time we spend. In general, it does take some amount of time commitment. The reason is, so there's the robot game, the project, and the core values, as the team mentioned. So the parents help with, for example, the project. One big portion of the project is outreach, talking to industrial experts, finding industrial experts. So the parents help with certain things like that, help make connections. Of course, the kids can write letters and emails and help set up meetings. But so we tended to split up the work. Obviously, it's too much work for any one parent. So there was a coach, and then there's mentors, and then we had one parent say, okay, you be in charge of the project and outreach. Well, another parent, you be in charge of core values. And for core values, there's a whole bunch of fun exercises and team games you can do. So that's something a parent could lead. Another example is a parent can lead practice judging rounds, things like that. So we did have to split up the work, and it really helps if at least one parent, if possible, from every child is involved and takes on some role.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to expand on actually is, so Dart was talking about the color sensor, but one thing, like, I think we were talking about variability and how no robot is the same, and that's same for the color sensor, because depending on your lighting, right? So if you have like a huge overhead light versus like no light at all, where you're testing, your whole robot is gonna get off, be like, your color sensor is gonna be off when it goes to a new field that has different lighting, because of the fact that every place has like some sort of different lighting and different lighting situation than where you would actually be programming a robot and fitting it to.
Can you relink the form, or Nikhil, so that everyone knows and that they can fill out and then give feedback, as well as give us their contact?
Yep, I just sent it in the chat.
Okay, great.
You guys, yeah. So yeah, just feel free to email us ftc13356@gmail.com if you have any further questions. And if you are interested, go ahead and fill out that form.
Yep, and like I mentioned earlier, Hemant and I, we're former mentors and coaches. Parents, if you have any other questions for coaches, I'm sure you have a ton. We'd be more than happy to chat offline and provide more details.